Hello Capricorn, and welcome to my channel Love It or More. This is going to be your October 2022 reading for Sun, Moon and Rising. I will begin with the sound bowl for about 20 seconds just to tune into the energy, and please be mindful that energies are non-gender specific, so take what resonates, leave the rest behind. It is a general reading. And finally I'll be doing 3 piles. The first pile will be your energy or your energy that's surrounding you starting the month of October. The middle row will be anything that's unseen, any challenges, obstacles, anything that you're not aware of. And the final row will be the outcome for the month of October. So let's take a nice deep breath in and exhale. Okay, Capricorn, let us see what October has in store for you. Okay, we'll get some major arcanas to get the theme of each area to start off with. Okay, we have the Hanged Man. Okay, suspending yourself in from a different angle to gain enlightenment. It's a very slow card. Okay, number 12, which reduces to a 3, which actually talks about creativity and catalyst. So in order to move forward, you need to stop and slow down and suspend yourself and to be able to see things from a different perspective. What's unseen at this time is the Moon card. Well, that is unseen because that's kind of what the Moon card talks about. It talks about things which are hidden beneath the surface, where energies and emotions reach fever pitch sometimes, where things are not as they really seem. We will obviously clarify. But it does also talk about things coming to light through that secrecy, mystery, all that sort of stuff. Okay, that's your card. How interesting. Right, and outcome for the month is the High Priestess with the Strength card. You're right. Okay, this is going to be a very interesting month for you, Capricorn. The High Priestess talks about being, your intuition is spot on. You are now connecting with your higher self. You are now being able to read beneath the surface with the Moon card there. And it's requiring a lot of internal strength. Strength in the form of determination, in terms of bravery, in terms of facing your inner demons. It's about kind of taming your inner beast. That's why it's usually always depicted with a lion and a woman. The woman, she tames the beast. So she's actually taming her inner beast. So it's about kind of coming to terms with certain fears, but also stepping outside your comfort zone. And so it was a bit of a double whammy of an outcome for the month of October, because not only are you seeing the truth of a situation in a very different ethereal kind of manner, but it's really kind of stretching you with the Strength card. It tells you that you have more reserves in you than you realize at this time. So you're starting to pick up on loads of other energy around you, and all of it's really kind of, I'm not seeing anything physical here, you know, it's all kind of in the air, ethereal. It's kind of recalibration, readjusting. Right, let us see what that all means. Now I'm going to be using my deck, which is one of a kind, because I painted it and there is only one print of it until it gets published, of course. Excuse me. Right. Okay, the Hanged Man. Let's see. Why is a Hanged Man here, please, for Aquarius? Thank you. We have 7 of Wands. Okay, so you're looking at different ways of how to protect what is yours, stand up for yourself, justify yourself. Okay, what else do we have? Thank you. 8 of Wands. charging forward with a lot of victory, a lot of va-va-voom kind of motivation and strength. Sometimes this is known also as the arrows of love, but it is fire. So we talk about kind of solar plexus energy, that fire in your belly where you are directing your energy. But this is a very victorious card. This promises a fruitful outcome, all of those sorts of things. Okay, we're going to clarify further, because all of this are the things that you are kind of looking at. You're trying to see a different angle of where you are, where your barriers are up, where you are overprotective, where you are defending yourself, defending not only your choices in life, but perhaps even defending your property. Okay, and you're also looking at where you are putting your energy, where you're putting your success, where you're putting your thoughts and intentions, and also your physical energy, your actual kind of action. We will go further, don't worry. Let's look at the moon, please. Why is the moon card here, please? That's a lot of cards, we'll take them. Ace of Cups, that talks about new love, okay? Ace of Cups is a beginning, and it's an overflowing cup, but it's kind of misty, so sometimes it can make you a little bit misty-eyed. Then we have Death, which talks about transformation, change. Now, the Death card really talks about kind of seasons changing. Everything has a season and moves from one to another. And in this particular card, a butterfly, which is the symbol of transformation, is sitting upon a new seed that is willing to grow into life in amongst the deadpan. Okay, deadpan with sand dunes in the background. So the Death card is actually a very, very promising card, but it talks about transformation. Then we have Justice. Okay, so justice doesn't turn up unless there has been an injustice, but here is talking about where the scales balance again. Okay, now we've got Major Arcana, Major Arcana, and Major Arcana. So this is really kind of destined energy. When the Major Arcana is in so many of them, it talks about kind of fated energy, and it's not necessarily fated in the sense of this will happen, this will happen, this will happen. It talks about the kind of energies that you need to navigate, move through. So they may have a different picture for everybody, for each person in their own situation, but there will be the lessons and the pinnacle points of what you need to kind of work through. So Justice is talking about balance, okay? Absolute balance. So this could be spiritual balance, mental balance, emotional balance, physical balance. But it's also about kind of bringing things back into balance so that you can feel more on top of things. Now, if it was a legal situation that you've been unaware of, that has been a bit sort of shady up until now, this shows me that there's going to be positivity that comes to light. There's going to be it's going to be favorable for you. And then we have the Empress, and the Empress is a beautiful card. It is the divine feminine, and we all have the divine feminine and masculine within ourselves. But the Empress works from unconditional love. She's a overflowing of love, because water is the emotional body. Okay, she creates everything. She nurtures everything. She is full of abundance. So she's a very promising card, and she's a number 3, which is a catalyst. Okay, like the Hangman over there. Now it's like moving from the Hangman state, which is like suspension and seeing things from different angles, into putting it into practice. Okay, so it's about really kind of all of this under the Moon card is really the things that are kind of been a little bit shady up until now. Well, if you think about the Moon card, the best way to think about it is when it is a full moon at night, the sky is actually really, really bright, but it casts shadows on things. For example, a tree would have a much larger shadow than during the daytime. So things are not really as they seem under the Moon card. But when illumination comes, and secrets are revealed and information is brought to light, then you can start to see it a bit clearer. Okay, so you're working, it's a bit sort of muddling with all this sort of fated energy here, but we will go further, don't worry. Now we've got this High Priestess and the Strength card. So I want to do them separately. So High Priestess, please. Because they are interconnected. But I do feel like they're talking about different things. High Priestess, please. Thank you. We have Ten of Swords. Okay, something dead, done, over with. Okay, also affecting you in the mental body because it is a sword. So nothing cannot be... the situation has ended its cycle because it's a 10 in numerology, talks about endings, and equally new beginnings because 1 plus 0 is a 1. Okay, so it's also an ending and a beginning all in one. Then we have 8 of Swords, feeling like you are a little bit trapped and you don't know where you're going, but actually it's you recognizing that perhaps you are holding your hands above your eyes and you're too scared to look, maybe, even though there is nothing actually stopping her from moving away from the swords, because she's walking through a pathway of swords, okay, which would be quite treacherous if you had your eyes closed, and all she needs to do is just bring her hands down. And then we have the Strength card again. Okay, so the Strength card, as I was saying before, is it's using up a lot of your strength. It feels like you've been on quite the journey, because in this card I've depicted it as actually taken from the story Cloud and the Cave Bear, and that's Ayla and the lion. But been on quite a journey, and now you are sitting on the edge of a great vast horizon in front of you, and you now know that you've got your companion with you, which you've allowed your inner demon to become your companion because you're mostly aware of it and you can work with it. Okay, so you're working with your positives and your negative, but you have tamed it in a way, you've mastered it. Okay, also 8. So 8s talk about manifestation. Okay, let's go to the Strength card, please. Can you clarify the Strength card? Also, they usually give me the card just before if they need me to go into the next one. Why is the Strength card here, please? For Capricorn. We have 2 of Wands. Okay, so being at the basically the edge of a shore and needing to figure out which ship to go to. You're ready to take that next step, but you're choosing now which way to go. What else do we have, please? Nice. You've got the Fool card. So you now have a brand new venture in life. The Fool talks about, it's almost like a reincarnation, right? A brand new start, a new venture. It's like being very, very excited, very innocent, very excitable, and not taking that much baggage with you, even though they've had the baggage and the information of the previous lives, as depicted as all the bubbles over there. But this is like where you are innocently reaching beyond and taking a new leap of faith, which is beautiful. So I absolutely love that. But of course, maybe that takes quite a lot of bravery to do that. Okay, inner strength to do that. Right, let us clarify. So you're trying to suss out in your head where you defend yourself, what you need to protect, and you're trying to see that from all angles. So let's clarify the 7 of Wands. What does this relate to? 7 of Wands, please. Thank you. I see. So we have 6 of Cups, talks about something from the past. Okay, it could also talk about equal exchange, give and take, but usually it's a nostalgia card, and also it can talk about children. Then we have the 5 of Pentacles, which talks about feeling like a lack mentality, drawing attention to your weaknesses rather than your strengths. It can also talk about having little money. And then the 2 of Wands, which is same card over here. So you actually you get a clue in the beginning of the month of the things that you're going to be looking at later on in the month, you know, with that 2 of Wands. The 2 of Wands in this card, he's got the globe in his hand because he's now ready to move forward in his life, but he recognizes he's at the top of his castle. But if the story of this one goes that he's actually done the whole cycle of life, but perhaps he bought the t-shirt, all of that sort of jazz, but perhaps he didn't enjoy the journey as much, or perhaps it felt maybe a little bit superficial maybe. So now he's looking out into the horizon, having achieved what he's gained, and now he's ready to take the next step out into the world. But he wants to go next level. He wants to make sure that he smells the flowers along the way. Okay, so in terms of this, trying to see it from a different point of view with the Hanged Man, giving yourself the time to do that, you're looking at how you've had to sort of stand up for yourself, and why. Okay, now the Seven of Wands basically says you have within. You are fully able to defend what is yours, particularly if it's a legal situation over here as well. You have all the means to defend and state your place, as long as you don't play the tit for tat rule or the name game, the pointing game. If you're able to be detached emotionally from it, you can certainly protect what belongs to you. And what belongs to you here is really talking about you wanting to protect your finances, you wanting to protect your memories from the past and the people that really mean a lot to you because of the children there and because it's a nostalgia card. So that would be everything from the past, situations, your love connections. And you're wanting to step forward into the future, but you're trying to figure out, how does this all relate? How do my relationships in my life up until now, how does my money and my finances, anything in the physical world, and my motivation moving forward, how do I protect that? And what are the ways that I am protecting that? So this is the thing that you're trying to sort of suss out within yourself, and you're needing time to kind of look at it from a different angle, meaning that whichever way you naturally protect what's yours. Now everyone has to protect they have to protect their heart, they have to protect their home, they have to protect their innocence, they have to protect all of these sorts of things. We all have to be some sort of protection at points, but perhaps people protect things in different ways. Now some of it can be overly and some of them can be not as like underly. And what I mean by that is some people can be overly protective and some people cannot give a SHIT, right? So it's about kind of you start the month of kind of really trying to suss out, what are the ways that I do that? And what does it mean for me? Because everyone needs to be true to themselves, okay? But what are the ways that I do that? And perhaps it's about maybe changing that or doing it the opposite way around to see how that would play out, even if you just play it out in your head. What about where your motivation goes forward? So let's ask about that. 8 of Wands. So that's the other thing you're sussing out. 4 of Cups. Oh, can you accept kindness? Can you accept gifts from spirit? This card talks about he's quite complacent. He's a bit bored actually, because he's got 3 cups firmly on the ground, and they represent his emotional sensitivities, I suppose, right? But they're all really good and well, but he is not seeing that behind him there's a 4th cup being offered by spirit for him. This is something that will really set him up, but it's like, what's the point in even taking it? Okay, so this is the other thing that you're trying to suss out in your head. It's like, well, wherever I put my energy, I know that if I put my motivation energy, because Capricorn, you're so hardworking, when you're very practical, you are, you know that if you put in the work, you'll get the results. It's a simple equation for you, and you know you're a master at it more than any of the other signs. But you're really trying to look at, well, where am I putting my energy here? Because what I've got at the moment isn't that grand, but maybe it's working it in a different way. Don't shoot the messenger, I'm just reading it. So fire represents motivation, solar plexus, action, okay? Vavavoom. Cups, that's the 3 of Cups, represents the emotional body. Okay, so maybe it's a space of kind of, maybe you need to put your heart more into something. It can take a bit of the fire out, put a bit more heart in, or something like that. But you're really trying to figure out for yourself, well, what's in this respect, it's like almost to a degree of, well, what's the point? What's the point? I put all my energy into one particular area and it just doesn't pay out. But it's only because you're not seeing what's behind the corner. Okay, but it is a very victorious card, so for that to even turn up is a very positive omen, saying that actually whatever you put your hand to, you do get results, a very favorable result. So it's excellent. We'll see if there's anything else, please, for the Eight of Wands. Thank you. Oh, Page of Cups and 10 of Wands. Okay, so it's again, so we've got the Page of Cups and 10 of Wands. Page of Cups is a good news as relates to the emotional body, and the 10 of Wands talks about kind of carrying a heavy load, a final burden, but you're almost at the end of the road now. You can see the village in the distance and you're almost there and you're completing a cycle. Okay, so you really are, it feels like you're kind of at the brink of a real kind of aha moment with as it relates to where you put your energies, where you stand up for yourself, all of those sorts of things. Those are the things that you are really sussing out for yourself as you start off October. Now, things get a little bit shady, but this is a lot of destined energy here, okay, that's hitting you in the middle of the month, or in October. So let's see. Ace of Cups, please. Whoa, that's too many. That's way too many cards. I can't take all of that. Nope. Very slippery. Okay. Ace of Cups, please. Thank you. Queen of Swords. Okay. About this could be someone, or this could be you. It could also be someone else, and this person would be very blunt, very knows exactly what she thinks and says. The Queen of Swords is someone who's experienced a lot in her life. Now, gender's non-gender specific. Okay? It could be man or male or female. But the Queen of Swords is someone who has experienced quite a lot in her life, to the degree where she's reached a point of there's no point BSing anything. Okay, there's no point kind of beating around the bush. She knows what she feels and she says it. And sometimes she can be quite blunt, but she knows her truth and she speaks her truth. What else for the Ace of Cups, please? We've got the Devil card, the Seven of Wands again, and a Two of Pentacles. Okay, so the Devil can also talk about Capricorn because that's our card for Capricorn. But it could also talk about kind of toxicity, something that's a little bit too extreme. So there's a situation here with regards to something that's kind of shady of like new love, whereby there's been blunt action on blunt spoken action, whether that be you or another person, on certain toxicity that has been quite difficult to juggle, okay? And defenses are like barriers have gone up, and defense mechanism is in like overload. Particularly that's why you're questioning it yourself. What does defense mean for you, okay? Sometimes if we're not careful with this, with the Devil card and the Seven of Wands together, that more talks about kind of ego, okay? So you could either be defending something that needs to be defended, or perhaps there's, with relation to this, it's an aspect of ego going a little bit too far, okay? Because anything with the Devil card would be the extreme of something. So everything's good in moderation. As soon as you go to extreme level, it can become toxic. So for example, 2 glasses of wine a night is fine. 2 bottles of wine a night, toxic. You get my picture, right? So there's a situation here where there's been a bit of a juggling act between being truthful and honest, and between feeling like toxic energy and having to defend yourself. And it's all gone a little bit shady under this Ace of Cups. Let's go to transformation. Let's go to the Death card, please. Can you clarify the Death card? we have the Hermit and the King of Swords. So now we have a royal court couple, because we've got the Queen of Swords and the King of Swords. The Hermit with the King of Swords is pretty big, because what it's saying to me is the Hermit is doing that real introspection, that soul searching. The Hermit has a lot of wisdom. He's gone to the top of the mountain. He's holding the star in his lantern, and he's looking down on his journey, and he has wisened up from it, okay? But then you've also got the King of Swords, who's an expert in his field, and he is very specific. He could be an authoritative a member of authority as relates to kind of a legal battle. If you're having to defend something on a legal aspect, the King of Swords is someone you really want in your favor there, because they would be a mentor, a helping hand, okay? Because they're very scrupulous. What's that? Is that even a word? I mean, scrupulous? I don't even know if that's a word. It's just something I'm hearing in my head. But they scrutinize everything, and they look at the finer details. But that's a situation, there's going to be a transformation with how you see things, okay? But it's all very under the moon, because it's all kind of like, one minute you see a clarity of it, and then it shifts into something else. So one moment there's wisdom, and the next moment there's intellect, and sometimes they're not always the same thing. So these are the areas that are really kind of causing quite a lot of confusion. It just feels very confusing. And it affects you, even though it's hitting you in the head space, it's affecting you in the emotional body too. So let's go to the Justice card, please. Clarify the Justice card. Thank you. Oh, we've got lots of cards. Okay, Justice, we got the Queen of Pentacles. Okay. Oh, Queen of Cups as well. We've got the Seven of Swords. We have Three of Cups and the Two of Swords. Yo. So Justice it feels to me between two people. Now this could be you and another person, or this could just literally be two other people in your life. It feels like more like two other people. Queen of Cups would be a person who's kind of like more kind of connected to the domestic life, is very resourceful, can put her hand to anything. Remember, not male or female, just that's the character of the Queen of Pentacles. And the Queen of Cups is someone who's very emotionally connected. Sometimes can be quite psychic. A person is kind of moved by her heart. Okay, but there's where there has been an injustice with regards to perhaps a kind of a departure or moving away or a strategy. There's also it's like this toss-up between, it's just really weird energy, because we've got it coming together as well, which is a kind of a lovely collaboration here, or sort of like celebration here, and then we've got the Two of Swords of not knowing which way to go. So it could be that in some sort of, so there's a few messages, and for some of you who are dealing with a kind of a legal situation, it feels like it could be a false win initially, because it's because it's all under the moon here, and you're left not knowing which way to go. Okay, so it could be a bit of a false one initially, but it may come right again. For others of you, if you've been dealing with two different people, it feels to me like it could be that people are going behind your back, because we've got the Seven of Swords, which is a bit of kind of like lying, cheating, stealing kind of energy, a bit of a deceitful card, and then people coming together, and that puts you in a difficult position. But what this is all saying to me under the Justice card is all of that sort of, it's like you don't know who to connect with. It's like if there were two people in your life who had different things to offer you, you're kind of not knowing what to choose. It's sort of like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, with that Two of Swords, okay? But all of that mental anguish and difficulty because of that Two of Swords, is sort of kind of slowly finding its balance. It's like it goes up and down and up and down, up and down, then slowly kind of peters off and then finds its balance under the Moon card, because initially it's very kind of emotive all over the show, and then it kind of settles. Okay. Oh, we've got one hiding here as well. Wait. Oh no, we've got 3 hiding. My goodness me. Right, let's do them all. 7 of Pentacles, Ace of Wands, and we've got the High Priestess again. Okay, which tells me to move on, but I've got Empress still. So okay, so this makes a little bit more sense. With regards to kind of not knowing either which person to side with, or if people are going behind your back, or a legal situation where it feels like a bit of a false win, because under the Moon card, it really, what that does, the balance that comes in is basically looking at where you've put your energies. With the 7 of Pentacles, he has sowed seeds the year before, and now he's ready to reap the harvest. But he's looking at what he's harvested, all the things that he's put his time and energy into it, and his love and his money and all of that, and he's trying to figure out, is the juice worth the squeeze? Was this all really worth it? Okay. And now it's like, well, okay, maybe I need to start something fresh, start something new with that Ace of Wands. Really follow my excitement, really follow a brand new venture that's really I'm enthusiastic about, because I'm not so sure that what I invested in over here was really worth it. And that's when you start to tap into your higher self with your intuition, okay? You're starting to sort of pick up on more information. It's a really tricky time. There's a lot happening for you in October. Let's go to the Empress, please. Thank you. We've got the 5 of Wands, which talks about conflict, internal conflict. What else do we have? Oh, an Ace of Pentacles and King of Wands. Okay, so immediately what I see here with the Empress and the 5 of Wands, okay, the shady thing is that the Empress is such a beautiful, abundant, loving card, right? But under the Moon, it is it's not seeing her in a true light. And so under the light of the Moon, which casts those long shadows as I was talking about, there is conflict within her heart, okay, internal conflict. And it's sort of backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards. So it's quite tricky, but I do feel that the Empress will win, okay, because we've got the Ace of Pentacles and the King of Wands. So what's available for you, if you choose to accept it, is a brand new start that's going to fire you up in your King of Wands here. And the King of Wands is an entrepreneur, again, male, non-gender specific. King of Wands is action oriented. He knows how to get things done. He's a natural born leader. He's got loads of charisma, he's got loads of talent, and he's got loads of excitement. He's able to charm anyone. And I feel like you are ready to take that new opportunity towards your own personal growth, because the Ace of Wands is basically a big fat seed to grow into this garden beyond that bridge or thing. So this whole destined energy here for October, in whichever situation it relates to you, if I were to sum it up, there's been a lot of confusion with relation to matters of the heart, where there has either been power struggles in terms of defending what is yours and not defending what's yours. There has also been, so with matters of the heart to do with that. In a legal situation, it's not so clear cut. And perhaps there's 2 other people that are working against you, okay? The other aspect of the fated energy over here is recognizing how the difference between wisdom and intellect in terms of the difference, because you could have a very clever person who is very unwise, and you could have a very wise person who's not very clever. But if you can bridge the two together, you're on something very good. Now, wisdom is all about through experience, okay? Knowledge is through about kind of almost theory, okay? So wisdom is a one up on it because it's actually lived through it. So if you can bridge those two together, it'd be wonderful. But it feels like there's been a transformation, and all there's been a shift and a change in how you see things in your mind, and also how you've grown in wisdom in many, many ways. And the other thing that's happening for you in this fated energy is you are turning your attention more to prosperity with regards where you put your energy, both with this section over here of what you've invested up until now, and recognizing, you know what, I don't know if that's really worth it. I'm going to change I feel like I need to change my direction. I'm going to master the internal conflict I feel with regards to the heart space of where I feel like I can not only be open to love, but also be open to creating new things, new abundance for myself, and become my own leader of that, become the own master of my own heart. So I can understand why all the majors came up in this, because this is really, really big, Capricorn. This is a huge month for you. I feel exhausted already. Okay, High Priestess. So intuitively picking up on something. Let's see here, Ten of Swords. What's the Ten of Swords about? What is dead, done, and over with, please? That you already feel. What is dead, done, and over with? Because this is such a vast shifting energy to be going through. It's very shifty, it changes all the time. Okay, Six of Pentacles. Okay, dead, done. Oh, well, let's go the rest quickly. Hang on. Eight of Swords, please. Six of Wands. Very nice. And Strength card, please. Thank you. Ah, beautiful. Four of Swords. Okay. So the outcome of October, with as it relates to the High Priest, the thing that you're kind of picking up on, and it feels like it's not like a direct thing that someone's telling you, or not an aha moment of like, oh yes, I totally understand this now. It's more to do with you kind of intuitively picking all of this up, and you're seeing it play out in different ways, and it's not something you can really put your finger on, but because the cards are here, I'm going to tell you what they are. So, number one, you are recognizing, you're picking up on the fact that what you give out to others, there should be an equal exchange. Okay? Six of Pentacles talks about money and gifts and generosity and, you know, sharing and helping and all of that sort of stuff. But sometimes it's not so equal. You see, he gives more to the one child than he does to the other child. But six for numerology is about harmony. It should be equal give and take. Now, so you're recognizing that you're stopping. It feels like you're putting an end to how much you give out, okay? Because you're recognizing that you're not receiving a reciprocated return on this, okay? The other thing that's going on here with this Eight of Swords is you're rising above this feeling kind of trapped. You know how I said she was walking through those swords? Now you're rising above it, and you can kind of sense, even though you may be a little bit scared to venture into the unknown, because you got the Six of Wands, which talks about recognition, rising high, departing. See, he returns from battle victorious. He is cheered on, and he's now ready to move on to the next stage. Okay, so you're rising, he's high on his horse as well. So you're rising high. And so even though you may not physically see it in front of you, there's a sort of an undercurrent sense that you're picking up on, that even though you're scared, you kind of feel a little bit confident, you know? And the reason you feel confident is because you've been working through all of these energies, and particularly this Hanged Man is a very, very strong energy for October. And with the Strength card and that Healing card, even though it feels to me like you're picking up on the fact that you're outside of your comfort zone. You're stepping into almost a new paradigm, a new reality. And you know that even though it's a bit scary to be in a different, outside of your, it's like not near your stomping grounds, or it's going to take a little bit more self-control to be able to give yourself the opportunity to rest and heal. Okay? But this also talks about blessings as well. So this is basically you know that actually you need to be a little bit gentle with yourself, but it actually requires strength. So it's like a paradox. In order to be gentle within yourself and heal, it takes strength. It's bizarre. Okay, now the strength card. 2 of Wands. So this is all at the end of the month, because you have that bit of healing, you have this intuitive hits, perhaps even light code downloads, all of that sort of stuff. But at the same time, you're creating the space to step into a new venture with that Fool card. So the 2 of Wands, please. We've got the Hierophant and the Chariot. My God, you are driving forward. Okay. So remember I was talking about the 2 of Wands. There's 2 ships to follow. Okay. Now, you can go whichever way you want to go, okay? One represents the Hierophant, one represents the Chariot. Now, the Hierophant talks about 2 things. 1, spiritual ascension, moving up, raising high. Your vibrations are rising, gaining real spiritual understanding, okay? And the other says, I am driving forward with my shadow and my light. I'm taking my light side, the good things that I know that work for me, and I'm fully in recognition of my shadow side, the darker sides, which I'm aware of, but I'm thrusting forward and it's victorious, okay? You're triumphing in it. Whichever way you go, let me tell you, both are positive, both are extremely positive. On one side of the scale, one is a little bit more on the spiritual side of it, more spiritual expansion. And the other side, although it is recognizing your good and your good, bad and ugly, you know, we all have them within us, and you're approaching it in a more physical sense. So you're at that stage of, which ship do I go on? But you know that actually both of them, they do kind of bleed into each other, because both those ships will eventually meet the same port. Okay, so you're good to go. But it is going to require strength, because it's like stepping into the unknown, stepping into the void. And the Fool talks about a leap of faith. So let's clarify the Fool card. Thank you. Page of Pentacles. You see, what enables you to take that leap of faith is a good news with regards to money. So you've got a good message coming with regards to money or property or something tangible, physical, that you can use forward. But at the same time as well, you do feel, because pages are like apprentices. Okay, and of course the Fool usually be a young man, but I've depicted it as a baby, because a baby is innocent and open to influence and excitable, and they do have their Akashic records within them, so they do know from previous lives certain wisdoms. But it feels to me like it would be really outside your comfort zone, and that's why it's requiring strength, because you're taking the next step, either metaphorically or physically. You're on a new journey. So it could literally be a new paradigm, a new reality. It could be a new job. It could be a new relationship. It could be any one of those things, right? But you're on a new journey and you're ready to take that leap of faith, okay? But you feel the reason why you need strength is because you feel like you're a total novice. But it's wonderful. Why not? Why not? You'll be giving you're getting support coming your way. It's like you'll get the synchronicity coming in to support you. It's like Spirit saying, yes, 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 this is the way. We're going to let it fall in your lap. We always know that when things aren't actually working for us is when we constantly hitting our head against a brick wall, you know, because there's resistance and blocks and blocks and blocks. And sometimes they are there because it's like spirit trying to redirect us along a different way. You know, rejection is God's protection and redirection. So it's when things start to flow easily and you have less resistance, then things fall into your lap a bit more. And this feels to me like, even though it's requiring a bit of internal strength and bravery to do this, to step into the void, it's our spirit is kind of guiding you along, because we all have guardian angels, we all have our spiritual team, we all have, you know, we're all connected to the angels, all of that stuff, right? And when things flow and fall into place, you've got to trust that it's working with the flow and working with good energy. And then the minute you put your hand up and stop something in, you're creating the blockage, right? So it's really, really important to kind of see when things start falling into place, take them and follow that path, because it's going to lead you somewhere amazing. Thank you. Knight of Cups. It's going to lead you more to follow with your heart with the Knight of Cups, which is really, really nice. And you're going to love what you do. Love what you do. Yo, that's a full-on reading, Capricorn, I have to admit. My goodness. So a lot of spiritual growth, a lot of shady energy to work through. Okay, it all feels a bit confusing because it's interconnected with under this moon card, all of those areas I was talking about. But you're going to end up on the other side so much stronger for it, so much stronger for it. So let's get an oracle card to close off this reading. Thank you. Yes, pillar of light. Your vibration is rising. You are the oracle. So by doing all of this work, by shifting through all of this fated energy I was talking about, by allowing yourself to see things from so many perspectives, but once you go through that, you start being more open to spirit, and the veil between this life and beyond is thinner, so you can really see things a bit kind of, you're picking up on things. As you're doing so, you're rising high, so your vibrations are rising faster, lighter, and with that, you are the oracle, meaning that all of these experiences that you're going through, it is not only wisening you up, but you are going to be able to guide the way for many others, okay? Because you've been through the darkest of the dark. So you will be able to show others the way when you are ready to go through that, okay? And it doesn't mean to say that you become some sort of spiritual guru, no. What that means is that you will be able to recognize in others similarities where you are at a stage of knowing how you worked through that and came out on the other side, and you'll be able to give a helping hand to loved ones or others in the future. So this is why it's so important. So Capricorn, that's all I have for you. I really hope this resonated. If it did, please like, subscribe, comment and share. Personal readings are available. You can check out my website, loveitormore.com. Have an interesting month and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.